So I've been hearing about the Ram ProMaster vans, the full-size ones, having ignition problems. And so I want to walk you through the problem, and then I want to show you how to fix it. Let's get started. Now the Ram ProMaster vans I'm talking about, right? They're the full-size ones, and they're the ones starting in production in 2014. Now the good news is they use the exact same ignition, so there's only one ignition that you're gonna need to fix these. Now the problem is that the physical ignition is actually breaking, and it's breaking inside of the ignition housing. Now, as you can see with this long tailpiece here, that it's actually just breaking, all right? Now, my guess is, when I was playing with one, my guess is it has something to do with the steering wheel locking and unlocking and just constant use. It's just kind of wearing it out, and it's eventually just breaking them. Now, the weird part about the phone calls that you're gonna get about the problem is that the key is turning, but the vehicle is not starting. Now, a lot of times when that's the problem, right, you immediately wanna think it's a transponder issue, right? There's some sort of communication, like the chip's bad in the key or the antenna's bad, and there's something weird going on there. But in this case, it's actually neither of those. It's just the back of the ignition, the tailpiece, is broken. So the bad news is that the ignitions are breaking, but the good news is that the solution to fix it is actually pretty simple. Now, of course, in the notes below, I'm gonna put a link to the ignition and also the pinning kit, all right? Because this is the deal. You wanna make sure when you run into this problem that you can get your customer back on the road as quickly as possible. And the best way to do that is when you have to replace the ignition is just to key up your replacement ignition to the customer's original key. It's gonna be the most cost-effective and quickest way to get the job done. Now, the first thing I wanna show you is how to get the ignition out of the housing. Now, to get the ignition out is what we have to do is put the ignition into the accessory position. We can push in this tab right here, all right? And that's gonna allow us to pull the ignition out. Now, there's an access hole right here that's going to allow you to do it. Now, it can be tough if you don't get it at the right angle. You're gonna wanna use something 4 or 5 inches long to be able to stick in there and to be able to take the ignition out, all right? Now, I'm gonna be using this little piece of wire here, or metal, or what is this, Tanner?
That's a poker chinger.
Yeah. Now I'm going to be using this poker chinger, is what Kid Lock calls it, to be able to remove this ignition, all right? Now, if you struggle to find it with how I'm going to show you, you can remove this little black plastic piece here, okay? It's held on by 2 T15 torque screws. Just take those out, you'll be able to remove this, all right? And then what you can do is take a flashlight, stick it in there, and then when you go through that hole, you'll be able to see exactly where you need to go. So it's what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna take the existing key. Now, remember, one of the problems that can be with this is with the back of the tailpiece broke off, the key might still turn, it's just not starting the vehicle. So you'll be able to just turn the key in, turn it to the accessory position here, is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna get the flashlight put in here, and I'm gonna come at the most aggressive angle as I can, just like this, all right? So all the way, so if you don't wanna go in straight, you wanna go in all the way to the angle as far as you can this way towards the ignition. Well, once you do that, we'll get up here, we'll push that up, and at that point, you'll be able to remove the ignition just like that, all right? Now, when you're done, of course, now if the back tailpiece is actually broken off, you're gonna wanna get some needle nose in there, pull that part out, key up the new one, and then when you go to put it back in, you're just gonna do it the exact same way, and you're gonna be done. All right, now that we have the ignition out, we now need to take our replacement ASP ignition, and we need to take it apart so we can key it up to the customer's existing key. So here is the replacement ignition by ASP. The part number is a C-17-034. I'll put a link in the notes below. You can check this thing out. All right, so this is gonna be your exact OEM replacement. And here is the pinning kit for it as well, which is the A-17-117. Now I'll open it up here, and is what you can see, able to see all the different wafers that it comes with for both the door, the ignition, and some door lock face caps, and some springs, of course, which are really handy when you're working with these. So let me show you how to take this apart. It's actually pretty simple, and you'll be able to rekey it to the customer's key using the ASP kit. Here we go. Now the first thing you're gonna wanna do is just remove this black clip, all right? So I'm just gonna use the little multi-pick tool here. All right, so to get this plug out is actually pretty simple if you follow these steps, all right? So if you see here, when I push this in, you'll see this little spot right here on the back, all right? This little groove, this little piece needs to get over right here to the left, right? So when you're looking at it, it's gonna be to the left. Now, essentially is what happens when you put the key in and turn it, and it goes everywhere but the way you need it to get to that slot, all right? And the reason is this piece is in the way right here, right? That's why it's not allowing you to turn it. So it's actually a really simple solution to turn it. All you have to do would just take your finger here. See, this is spring loaded. See that? It's spring loaded. So all you have to do is just move it up out of the way. And then now with the key in and turned, you can just turn it the other way. Now, as soon as it gets over a little far enough, you can just, you don't have to worry about it. It's just gonna be there. Then at that point, okay, you can just pull out, okay? So as I started here, let me push it back. So as you can see there, all you have to do is just start pulling the plug out, just like that. Just like that. And that's what you're gonna do, is you're gonna bring it all the way out, just like that. It's that simple. Now you can pull it out. Now this does have a sidebar, and so you're gonna have to, rekey it. No big deal. And then this piece just fell out. Let me show you how to put that back in. So you're just gonna pull that out. Now once you have it rekeyed, all right? Now if you notice, when I push the key in all the way, right, this stays up, okay? It's tight. You wanna pull the key out just a little bit. See, it's not. So that's what you need to do when you put it back in, is put it in the same way you took it out, all right? Then what you'll do is as soon as you turn it back, it's automatically gonna snap back into how it originally was, and you're good to go. You put the clip back on, install it into the customer's vehicle, and not only did you just complete the job, but you also saved the day for the customer. All right, so there you have it. That's how you take the ignition out, how you take the ignition apart, so you can rekey it. Now, I really hope that this video was helpful and informative, so when you get the call, you're gonna know exactly what to do and be as efficient as possible. I'd love to know what you think in the comments below, and make sure you include the hashtag Lockboss to automatically get entered in to win one of 5 free prizes we give away every week here on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.